Today we're going to start on pages 412, 413. If you look at chart 19-5, please, on page 412. Before we do that, yesterday we did the summary of punctuation in using connectives, and also cause and effect using therefore, consequently as transitions, and so as a conjunction. So today on chart 19.5 on page 412, if we look at the top here, this is a chart that says other ways of expressing cause and effect such blank that and so blank that. Okay? Now, if we look at examples A, B, and C, we're going to see that they all have the same meaning using such that, so that, or even an adverb clause because. But we're going to distinguish how we use them. Okay? So look at letter A. Because the weather was nice, we went to the zoo. So here is your adverb clause, because the weather was nice. We went to the zoo is the independent or main clause. Notice that since we started with an adverb clause, we're going to use a comma before the main clause. Look at example B. It was such nice weather that we went to the zoo. And here you're using such and that. If you notice, it is followed by a modified noun, which means an adjective and a noun. Nice and weather. Nice is the adjective, weather is the noun. And in C, the weather was so nice that we went to the zoo. Here we're using so and that, and in between we have an adjective, nice. Examples A, B, C have the same meaning. Now we look at examples D and E. It was such good coffee that I had another cup. So here you have such and that with a modified noun, which means an adjective and a noun. Good is the adjective, coffee is the noun. Letter E. It was such a foggy day that we couldn't see the road. Such and that again, but here it's a modified noun, meaning adjective, foggy, and day is your noun. Such and that encloses a modified noun. Such plus an adjective plus a noun plus that. And that's what we call a modified noun, when you use an adjective in front of a noun. Okay? So you might say, for example, it was such a nice party that I didn't want to leave. Okay? Or the food was, in this particular case, using such an expensive meal that we couldn't eat there at the restaurant. So expensive would be your adjective, and then food would be your noun or meal. So here, remember, such and that encloses a modified noun, like good coffee, foggy day. We look at examples F, G, H, and I. This is using so and that. The coffee is so hot that I can't drink it. Here we're using so and that. In the middle, adjective. Letter G. I'm so hungry that I could eat a horse. So and that. Hungry is your adjective. Letter H. She speaks so fast that I can't understand her. So and that. In the middle, here's an adverb, fast. Letter I. He walks so quickly that I couldn't keep up with him. So and that. In the middle, another adverb, quickly. So here, so and that encloses an adjective or adverb. So you have so plus adjective and that, or so plus adverb and that. So that's the difference between using such and that. Such and that is followed by an adjective and a noun. so and that, adjective or adverb, and then that no noun with so and that. Letters J, K, L, and M. She made so many mistakes that she failed the exam. He has so few friends that he is always lonely. She has so much money that she can buy whatever she wants. He had so little trouble with the test that he left 20 minutes early. So here, so and that is used with many, with few, with much or little. These are expressions of quantity, okay? So if you're using so and that, you can also use it with many, few, much, and little. That gives you an expression of quantity, okay? So you would not say, she made such many mistakes, or he has such few friends, or she has such much money, or he had such little trouble. No, you cannot use such with those expressions of quantity, many, few, much, and little. Here, you're going to have many and then mistakes. Few friends, much money, little trouble. Again, these so and that are used with expressions of quantity. Letter O, N and O, I'm sorry. It was such a good book, I couldn't put it down. Or, it was such a good book that I couldn't put it down. I was so hungry, I didn't wait for dinner to eat something. I was so hungry that I didn't wait to eat for dinner to eat something. Sometimes, primarily in speaking, that is omitted. You may omit it when you're speaking. If you use it, that's okay. But when you're writing, you would have to include it. That's why here that is in parentheses, because it's, if you're speaking, you don't have to. That's your speaker's option. But if you're writing, the writer has no option. He or she has to use that. Okay? So we look at exercise 17. Complete the sentences with so or such. Remember, if it's followed by a modified noun, you're going to use such. If it's followed by an adjective or an adverb or an expression of quantity, you're going to use so. So we look at number 1, A, B, and C are done for us. It was such an enjoyable party that no one wanted to leave. Enjoyable is your adjective, party is your noun. So that's why we use such. The party was so enjoyable that no one wanted to leave. Here, enjoyable is your adjective, but there's no noun, so we use so. We had so much fun that no one wanted to leave. Here, because we're using much, you say, oh, okay, that's an expression of quantity, we use so. Let's look at number 2. A. Leda is blank afraid of flying that she traveled by train across Canada. So if we look at this, Leda is blank and then afraid. Okay, this is an adjective, so your answer is going to be so. Look at 2B. She was gone for blank a long time as she got homesick. So you have blank and then long time, adjective and noun. So you're going to say, she was gone for such a long time that she got homesick. Letter C. People on the train were blank kind that she will always remember them. So here, blank and then followed by an adjective, and then here's that. You say, okay, here I'm going to use so. Go ahead and do number 3 and number 4, A, B, and C. Okay, let's look at number 3A. My elderly aunt has blank few friends that I am beginning to worry about her. So here you have our blank and then you have few, an expression of quantity. So you're going to say, so. B, she's not poor, but she spends little money that I'm not sure she's eating right. Here, again, you have an expression of quantity. So your answer is going to be, so. Letter C. I've wanted to visit blank many times, but she always says no. Again, you have an expression of quantity, many, so you're going to say so. Number 4A. The movie was blank scary that none of us could sleep at night. So here you have scary. So okay, that's an adjective. So I'm going to say so. B. We were blank scared that we held hands when we walked home. Here again, you say scared. Okay, that's an adjective. So I'm going to use so. Letter C. I was afraid of having blank bad dreams that I didn't sleep well for a week. So here, you're saying, okay, bad and dreams, adjective and noun, such. So number 3A, 3B, and 3C are so. 4A and B, so. 4C, such. Now, in exercise 18, exaggerations. It says, take turns making sentences using so or such that. So that or such that. Try to exaggerate your answers. Share your favorite answers with the class. So, look at the example. Now, exaggerate means you put a little bit more cream on your tacos than what you originally said you were. You kind of like inflate the truth. Okay? So, for example, you might say, my friend Tony is so smart that he knows more than a computer. Okay? Or my friend Tony is so smart that he has more intelligence than a computer. Okay? Look at the example. I'm hungry. In fact, I'm so hungry that I could eat a horse. Or I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. That's an exaggeration. No one can eat a horse by themselves. So we look at page 413. You might say, I'm really tired. Remember, this is an exaggeration. In fact, I'm so tired that I could sleep for 3 whole days without waking up. Or, in fact, I'm really tired. In fact, I'm so tired that I need two beds to sleep in. Number 2, I didn't expect it. I was really surprised. In fact, I was so surprised that I couldn't breathe. Or, in fact, I was so surprised that I fainted. Number 3, I took a very slow bus to town. In fact, it was so slow that my grandmother passed us on her by walking. Or, in fact, it was such a slow bus that a turtle beat us to the store. Number 4, we watched a very exciting movie. In fact, it was such an exciting movie that I was sitting at the edge of the sofa all night. Or, we watched a very exciting movie. In fact, It was so exciting that the hair on the top of my head stood up. Number 5, the weather was really, really hot. In fact, it was so hot that the ice cubes in the refrigerator melted. Or the weather was really, really hot. In fact, it was such a hot day that the streets started to melt. If you've seen the movie Geospace, you know what I'm talking about. Number 6, my wallet fell out of my pocket and I lost a lot of money. In fact, I lost so much money that the person who found it is now a rich person. Number 7, I ordered an expensive meal at a restaurant. The server brought a small plate with a tiny amount of food to my table. In fact, it was so small that I needed a microscope to cut the steak. Or, in fact, it was such a tiny amount of food that I had to order 20 more plates. Number 8, I saw a shark while I was swimming in the ocean. I was frightened. Remember, frightened means scared. In fact, I was so frightened that the water level in the ocean rose by 3 inches. Those are examples of exaggerations. Now, if we look at exercise 19, ladies and gentlemen. On exercise 19, it says, make new sentences using so or such by combining each sentence on the left with the appropriate sentence on the right. Make all necessary changes. Example, we have numbers 1 through 8 and letters A through H. There are many pine cones on the tree. So you say, okay, many is an expression of quantity. There are so many pine cones on that tree that, letter E, it is impossible to count them. Okay? So go ahead and do numbers 2 through 8, and then we're going to check in a minute. Remember, use so or such. Okay? And then combine 1 through 8 with A through H. Okay, let's look at number 2. The radio was too loud. So we have to find a sentence from here to combine it with this. Now we also have to use so or such. So here we're going to eliminate 2. Okay, we're going to eliminate 2, and we're going to look at this. This is an adjective. So we say, okay, The radio was so loud that, letter G, I couldn't hear what Michael was saying. So again, the radio was so loud that I couldn't hear what Michael was saying, letter G. Okay, if we look at number 2, and number 3, Olga did poor work. Okay, so here you have a modified noun, poor and work. So you say, Olga did such poor work that she was fired from her job. Okay, letter B. Olga did such poor work that she was fired from her job. Number 4. The food was too hot. So here we say, okay, 2 again. So we're going to eliminate 2 and we're going to use so because this is an adjective. So the food was so hot that, letter A, it burned my tongue. Again, the food was so hot that it burned my tongue, letter A. Number 5. The wind was strong. So you're going to say, in this particular case, since strong is an adjective, there's no modified noun, you're going to use so. The wind was so strong that, letter C, it blew my hat off my head. Again, the wind was so strong that it blew my hat off my head. Number 6. The tornado struck with great force. Okay. The tornado struck with great force. Now, great force, modified noun, adjective and noun. So you say, the tornado struck with such great force that, letter F, it lifted cars off the ground. Again, the tornado struck with such great force that, letter F, it lifted cars off the ground. Number 7. Few students showed up for class. So you say, okay, here's few, an expression of quantity. So I'm going to use so. So few students showed up for class that, letter D, the teacher postponed the test. Again, so few students showed up for class that the teacher postponed the test. And number 8. Charles used too much paper when he wrote his report. So here we have an expression of quantity. So we're going to take off 2. We're going to put so. Charles used so much paper when he wrote his report that, letter H, the printer ran out of ink. Again, Charles used so much paper when he wrote his report that the printer ran out of ink, letter H. If you'll turn to page 414, please. And here we have exercise 20, which is a warm-up. Here it says, check the sentences that correctly complete the given sentence. So here, Kay got a new job. So that, okay, so Kay got a new job. Why did she get a new job? So that what? What do you think? Number 1, so that she could be closer to home. Number 2, Kay got a new job so that she is very excited. Number 3, Kay got a new job so that her husband is taking her out to dinner to celebrate. And number 4, Kay got a new job so that she could earn more money. So what are reasons, logical reasons, that people get a new job? Usually, Number one, Kay got a new job so that she could be closer to home. That is correct. Okay. Number two, Kay got a new job so that she is very excited. No, you don't get a new job to be excited. No. Number three, Kay got a new job so that her husband is taking her out to dinner to celebrate. You don't get a new job so that your husband can take you out to celebrate. Number four, Kay got a new job so that she could earn more money. Yes, people get new jobs so that they can get more money, earn more money. So number one and number four. Okay? And that's using a purpose. So if we look at chart 19-6. On chart 19-6, we have expressing a purpose using so and that. Letter A. I turned off the TV in order to enable my roommate to study in peace and quiet. Letter B. I turned off the TV so that my roommate could study in peace and quiet. In order to expresses a purpose. In letter A, I turned off the TV for a purpose. The purpose was to make it possible for my roommate to study in peace and quiet. Examples A and B have the same meaning. So here, when you have in order to and so that, they have the same meaning. To establish a purpose of what you did. Okay? You might say, I went to the library in order to study. Or, I went to the library so that I could study. Okay? So if you look at examples C and D, I'm going to cash a check so that I can buy my textbooks. Why are you cashing a check? Here's your purpose, to buy textbooks. Okay? Letter D, I cashed a check so that I could buy my textbooks. You've noticed the difference between C and D. Here, in letter C, I'm going to cash a check so that I can buy my textbooks. This is in the simple present. Okay? And in letter D, I cashed a check so that I could buy my textbooks. Because cashed is in the past tense, could is going to be in the past tense. You cannot say, I cashed a check so that I can buy my textbooks. No. So the explanation. So that expresses a purpose. It expresses the same meaning as in order to. The word that is often omitted, especially in speaking. I would use it. That's my preference. So that is often used instead of in order to when the idea of ability is being expressed. Can is used in the adverb clause for a present or future meaning. So here can be used for a present or a future meaning, like in example C. I'm going to cash a check. That's future meaning, but you use can. Okay. In C, so that I can buy means in order to be able to buy. Could is used after so that in past sentences as in D, because over here cashed is the verb in the past tense. You already did this, so it's in the past tense, so you're going to use could instead of can. Now examples E, F, and G. We're going to use so that plus will, so that plus would, or so that in the simple present. Letter E, I'll take my umbrella so that I won't get wet. In E, so that I won't get wet means in order to make sure that I won't get wet if it's raining outside. Letter F, yesterday I took my umbrella so that I wouldn't get wet. Now this is yesterday, and this verb is in the past. Would is used in past sentences as in F, so we won't say will or won't, say wouldn't. Letter G, I'll take my umbrella so that I don't get wet. It is sometimes possible to use the simple present after so that. in place of will. The simple present expresses a future meaning. So here I'll take my umbrella so that I don't get wet instead of won't get wet. Here you're using this simple present and it gives you that future meaning anyway. Okay? Note, in order that has the same meaning as so that, but is less commonly used. Example, I turned off the TV in order that my roommate could study in peace and quiet. Both so that and in order that introduce adverb clauses. It is unusual but possible to put these adverb clauses at the beginning of the sentence. So that my roommate could study in peace and quiet, I turned off the TV. Or, in order that my roommate could study in peace and quiet, I turned off the TV. Yes, you know, it is possible to use that, but it's highly unusual. I wouldn't even recommend using so that or in order that at the beginning of the adverb clause. Okay? Also possible, but less common, the use of may or might in place of can or could. I cashed a check so that I might buy my textbook. Okay? If we look at exercise 21, ladies and gentlemen, combine the sentences by using so that. Please turn down your music. I want to be able to get to sleep. Please turn down your music so that I can get to sleep. Because this is in the present. Okay? Look at number B. My wife turned down her music. I wanted to be able to get to sleep. My wife turned down her music so that I could get to sleep. Because turned and wanted, that's in the past, so you're using could. Look at number 2 on page 415. Put the milk in the refrigerator. We want to make sure it won't spoil, or we want to make sure it doesn't spoil. So put the milk in the refrigerator so that it won't spoil, or put the milk in the refrigerator so that it doesn't spoil. Both are correct. Okay? You can use, remember, in the explanation on letter G on page 414, it says that it is possible sometimes to use the simple present after so that instead of will, and it still expresses a future meaning. And letter B, I put the milk in the refrigerator. I wanted to make sure it didn't spoil. So this is in the past tense because of wanted and put. So I put the milk in the refrigerator so that it wouldn't spoil. Okay. Look at exercise, number 3. Let's do number 3A and B together. Please be quiet. I want to be able to hear what Sharon is saying. So you say, please be quiet so that I can hear what Sharon is saying. So I'm going to eliminate want to be able. 2. So please be quiet. Please be quiet so that I can hear what Sharon is saying. Letter B. I asked the children to be quiet. I wanted to be able to hear what Sharon was saying. So you say, I asked the children to be quiet so that I could hear what Sharon was saying. Again, I asked the children to be quiet so that I could hear what Sharon was saying. We eliminate wanted to be able to. Okay. Go ahead and do number 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, A and B, please. I'll give you a couple of minutes. Okay, let's look at number 4. I'm going to go to a cash machine. I want to make sure that I have enough money to go to the store. So you start with, I'm going to go to a cash machine so that I have enough money to go to the store, or so that I will have enough money to go to the store. You can give it a present or a future meaning. Letter B. I went to a cash machine yesterday. Right there it tells you, past tense. I wanted to make sure that I had enough money to go to the store. So you say, I went to a cash machine yesterday so that I would have enough money to go to the store. I went to a cash machine yesterday so that I would have enough money to go to the store. Number 5. Anne and Larry have a 6-year-old child. Tonight they're going to hire a babysitter. They want to be able to go out with some friends. So you start with, Anne and Larry have a 6-year-old child. Tonight, they're going to hire a babysitter so they can be able to go out with some friends. Okay? Or, I'm sorry, let me do that again. Anne and Larry have a 6-year-old child. Tonight they're going to hire a babysitter so they can go out with some friends. Not can be able to, okay? They can go out with some friends. Number 5B. Last week, Anne and Larry hired a babysitter. They wanted to be able to go to a dinner party at the home of Larry's boss. So here, you're going to say, last week, Anne and Larry hired a babysitter so that they could go to a dinner party at the home of Larry's boss. Last week, Anne and Larry hired a babysitter so that they could go to a dinner party at the home of Larry's boss. Number 6. Yesterday, I put the meat in the oven at 5 o'clock. I wanted it to be ready to eat by 6:30. Again, this is yesterday. So you say, yesterday, I put the meat in the oven at 5 o'clock so that it would be ready to eat by 6:30. Yesterday I put the meat in the oven at 5 o'clock so that it would be ready to eat by 6:30. Letter B. Be sure to put the meat in the oven at 5 o'clock. You want to be sure that it will be ready to eat by 6:30, or you want to be sure that it is ready to eat by 6:30. You can use either the present or the future. Okay? So here, you're going to say, be sure to put the meat in the oven by 5 o'clock so that it will be ready to eat by 6:30, or be sure to put the meat in the oven at 5 o'clock so that it is ready to eat by 6:30. Both are correct, present or future meaning. Number 7. I'm going to leave the party early. I want to be able to get a good night's sleep tonight. I'm going to leave the party early so that I can get a good night's sleep tonight. Again, I'm going to leave the party early so that I can get a good night's sleep tonight. We don't use want to be able to. Number B. I'm not going to look at any messages on my phone or computer before I go to sleep. I want to be sure that my mind is free of distractions. So I'm not going to look at any messages on my phone or computer before I go to sleep so that so that my mind is free of distractions. You're going to eliminate, I want to be sure that. Okay? So again, I'm not going to look at any messages on my phone or computer before I go to sleep so that my mind is free of distractions. Number 8. Tommy pretended to be sick. He wanted to stay home from school. So you're going to say, Tommy pretended to be sick so that he could stay home from school. Because pretended and wanted, past tense. Tommy pretended to be sick so that he could stay home from school. Letter B. He held a thermometer under hot water. He wanted it to show a high temperature. So held and wanted, past tense. So you're going to say, he held a thermometer under hot water so that it would show a high temperature. Again, he held a thermometer under hot water so that it would show a high temperature. If we look at exercise 22, add that to the sentence if so means in order that. In other words, if it gives a purpose. If so means therefore, add a comma. So here, look at number 1. These are needs. Everyone has daily needs. I need to borrow some money so I can pay my rent. So here, so means in order that I can pay my rent. So here, I need to borrow some money so that I can pay my rent. Look at number 2. I didn't have enough money for the movie, comma, so I asked my friend to buy my ticket. Here, so means therefore. It's not a purpose. Okay? Look at number 3. I need a visa so I can travel overseas. If we look at so here, ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself, does it mean in order that or does it mean therefore? If it means in order that, I'm going to put that. If it means therefore, I'm going to put a comma. So, I need a visa so that I can travel overseas. Why do you need a visa? To travel overseas. That's the purpose. So you say, I need a visa so that I can travel overseas. So that goes right here after so. Number 4. I needed a visa, so I went to the embassy to apply for one. Here, so means therefore. So you're going to use a comma. I needed a visa, comma, so I went to the embassy to apply for one. Number 5. Marta is trying to improve her English so she can become a tour guide. So we look at this part here. So she can become a tour guide. Does it mean therefore, or does it mean in order to? Does it give a purpose? So am I going to put a comma or that? Well, if we look, so she can become a tour guide. That's a purpose. So we say, Martha's trying to improve her English so that, right here, she can become a tour guide. Go ahead and do number 6, 7, and 8, please. I'll give you a minute or two. Okay, let's look at number 6. Olga wants to improve her English, so she has hired a tutor. Okay, so here, if we look at so, and then she has hired a tutor, does that give you a purpose, or does it mean therefore? So in this particular case, Olga wants to improve her English, comma, so she has hired a tutor. Because so in this particular sentence means therefore. So put a comma right here after English. Number 7. Tarek borrowed money from his parents so he could start his own business. So we look at this part. So he could start his own business. Is that a purpose or does it mean therefore? Tarek borrowed money from his parents so that he could start his own business. Okay? So because here it means it gives a purpose. Why did he borrow money? To start his business. Number 8. I turned off my phone so I can concentrate on my paperwork. Okay, so here you say, so I can concentrate on my paperwork. Does that mean therefore, or does it give a purpose? In this particular case, it gives a purpose. So you're going to say, I turned off my phone so that I can concentrate on my paperwork. Okay? So remember, ladies and gentlemen, that we can use such and that with a modified noun, so and that with an adjective or adverb, or with an expression of quantity, many, few, much, and little. Okay? And when you use so that, it gives a purpose. Okay? It shows a purpose. So it means in order to. Okay? Now tomorrow, we're going to start on page 416. And if you want to go ahead and get ahead, you might look at chart 19.7, the explanations, and complete exercises 24, 25, and 26. And we'll do that tomorrow. Okay? Have a good day. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Thank you, everyone.